This demonstration showcases the integration between F5 Big IP and Cisco ACI in the OpenStack environment. The physical topology for the demonstration uses an ACI fabric with a physical F5 load balancer connected to a physical domain in ACI, as well as two servers running KVM and the OpFlex agent connected to a VMM domain in the OpenStack environment. As part of the demonstration, we'll be showing how these different domains in the ACI fabric can be mapped together and used with the Neutron LBaaS service. As part of this demonstration, we'll show how the F5 is mapped into a physical domain of an external EPG of the external network and load balances to pool members, which are floating IPs in the OpenStack environment. The VIP in this case actually lives outside of OpenStack entirely and is exposed through a dummy network. And the LBaaS API can be directly used to manage the F5. Let's start by logging into the OpenStack environment to see this in action. The first thing we'll do is look at the various networks that have been created with the OpFlex environment. If we open the network topology picture, we can see that we have DC out, which is the external network that has been created. We also have two tenant networks, Net 100 and Net 200. The orange network here is for SNAT, which is also used by the OpFlex environment. You can also see that Net 100 and 200 are attached to our router, so they have access to the external network. Now let's go over to APIC and see how the F5 is mapped to this environment. We'll start by opening the common tenant, which is where we have the EPG used for the external network. This EPG was automatically created through the OpFlex plugin. If we look inside it, we can also see that it has the physical domain that has been created and mapped into the F5 environment. We can also see that there's an attachment point for the interface that's attached into our physical F5 with the particular VLAN endcap 1051, which is used by F5. Jumping over to OpenStack, let's actually use this environment. We start by creating a number of instances. We'll create two web servers in this case to be pool members of our load balancing device. We'll join them into the Net 100 network as well. Now we see these spawning and joining the network. If we go over to ACI, we should actually also see them discovered via OpFlex in our VMM domain. And if we dig inside this environment, we can actually see that as well. And in particular, we can open up the Net 100 view. We can actually see that the VMs are booted and visible within the ACI fabric. Next up, we'll start associating floating IPs with these networks so that we can load balance to them. One will be given a .4 address, one will be given .5 address. Now each of our web servers has a floating IP assigned. And we can actually create our load balancing service. First step in doing this is to create our pool. We'll use this using the two compute nodes that we've just created. We'll select the big IP as our provider. Choose the subnet we've been using for floating IPs. HTTP is our protocol since we're running web servers. Simple round-robin service. And we'll go ahead and create that pool. Now it's time to put members in this pool. We'll do this with the two floating IPs that we've created. We'll specify them here by IP address, and again give the floating IPs that we have just created, our .4 and our .5 addresses. We have to repeat this one more time to add the second server. And now we've set up our pool with its members. So you can see those were the floating IPs that we attached to our load balancing pool. Now it's time to actually create a VIP. We'll go into the load balancer, we'll hit add VIP. Here we give it a simple name. We'll select a subnet for it. In this case, the subnet exists outside of the OpenStack network against the dummy network we've created. And we'll select a free address in that subnet to use as our VIP. We'll set this up to work HTTP for our web servers. And that's all that's required. This will automatically push and deploy things to the F5. Now all that remains is to actually show this in action. Let's open up our web browser and actually hit the VIP address. On each of our compute nodes, we're running a simple web server designed to return the IP address. Here you can see we've accessed web server 2 and 1, and we can see that we're getting round-robin load balancing between them. So we've successfully deployed the service to the F5 using LBaaS connected through the ACI fabric against the VIP that we've selected. That concludes our demonstration of Cisco ACI with F5 and OpenStack using LBaaS.